Hello everybody, welcome to Wild Earth this morning, and you may realise we're not on the open area. We're actually on the other side of where the lodge is, on Mvubu Road, because we had a few reports through this morning that there was a couple of lions chasing some buffalo around Gowrie Dam, and I haven't been able to find any tracks on that side of the dam, and I think one report said that they headed north this way into quite deep bush, but we're going to have a look. We're going to drive down towards the lodge, maybe into that drainage line, and see if there's anything that we can find down there. But if anyone does have any other information, then do send it through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv, and we'll see if we can try and catch up with the lions. We don't often get a chance to see them, but it'd be great to catch up with them if they are around here, so keep your fingers crossed. My name's Tara, and join me on camera, fresh back from leave, is Sebastian. Welcome back, Sebastian.
Thank you, Tara.
And back in Final Control, also fresh back from leave, is Craig. So if you'd like to send through any questions, same address, questions@wildearthsafari.tv. So let's jump aboard and see if we can go and find these big tawny cats. I hope so. So it was actually very quiet this morning. I just told Texan about it, and it doesn't sound like he heard it. Just gotta find out if everybody is out the room. Texan, come in. Might not have left the lodge yet. Just wondering if all the guests are out of the rooms yet. I just wanted to find out if all the guests are out of the rooms at the lodge. I just want to go down and check the drainage line.
Yeah, friends are all coming up well.
Copy that. Confirm it's okay for us to go and check.
Yeah, friends, yeah.
I've got Lutu and Konza so far. It sounds like they may have chased the Inyari up towards the lodge somewhere, maybe into the drainage line.
Okay,
copy. Guest still at the lodge. They are still. He said that everyone was on the way up, so I think we just have to give him a couple more minutes. I'm wondering if he's seeing the lines though. Fortunately. Turn around and maybe try and see if we can go in a little bit further up. So I'm hearing some bird calls.
Good morning,
now.
mobile station with an update.
Good morning, Ephraim. We had a report of a couple of Ngala chasing some Inyari down by Gowrie Dam. Probably about half an hour ago, and trying to follow up. Sounds like they headed north into the drainage line.
Okay, copy. I'm coming to check that side.
Okay, I think he's making his way up now. Can't see him.
Can't see him anymore.
Okay. I think he's on his way. Sound like from texting they were all on the way up to go out on drive. So I wonder if he did see the lines. Looked like he was looking out. So if I'm in the wrong area, if anyone can let me know if it looked like the lines went elsewhere, but I couldn't see any tracks. Oops. check down here. Sorry? Oh, can you still see it? Oh, okay. Oops. Ah, okay. Thanks, Karen. Apparently the buffaloes went possibly over the dam wall, so maybe the lions have tried to go that side. Okay, well it seems as the guests are still there playing hide and seek. Go up that side. Takes him. Yeah, I saw one of your guests down at one of the rooms, so I'm going to leave that area. Let them go up. I thought they all might be out by now. No, I do want to approach, so we just turn around. We're going to go and have a look around the dam wall, but I'm wondering whether he might have seen them.
Yeah, we're trying to call it.
Yeah, he's just standing out on the deck. Shame. Apparently one of the males is limping a little bit. I remember one of the Unkahuma males actually limping. And the Unkahumas were probably about roughly the same age as the Styx male, probably about 6 months older. And I wonder if it was them. Buffalo tracks heading that way though. So I didn't see anything below the drainage line. Standing by?
Yeah, you just continue, go that side if you want to go there.
Okay, copy. Did he say he saw anything?
Good.
Okay, copy. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How are you? Yeah. From what we can gather, I think the buffalo went over into the drainage line, but we're not sure exactly where the lions went. Yeah, we just had a report from, there's a camera just here and the viewers were watching the camera and there was some lions chasing buffalo around here, but we're not entirely sure which direction they went in, so I've been looking around.
And you haven't seen any lion track this side?
Nothing this side, there's a couple of buffalo tracks heading up there, but I haven't seen any lion tracks.
I think we can check halfway that side.
Yeah, we were going to go down to the drainage line, but there was a guest standing there, so we did.
I guess he's gone already.
Yeah, I think he's just said now that he's gone up now, because we didn't want to go down and disturb him, so...
We can check it.
Are you going to go into the drainage line?
Yes, we check it.
Okay, we'll have a quick check around here. Alright, enjoy. Okay, Ephraim hasn't seen anything except a couple of buffalo tracks down there. Okay, they left the buffalo and they didn't follow. Okay, so it sounds like the lions did go north. Okay, well let's go down to the shoreline. Maybe there's something there then. So we're not finding, there's no tracks along here. Unless they have continued into the drainage line. Let's take that little 2-track and have a look around from this side. Hi Yvonne, good morning to you. Wondering what's up with the guests, why can't we be at the same place? It's just for privacy for the guests. So there's many guests that come here and this might be the first time on safari, and it's kind of having the feel of a wilderness, and you kind of don't really want to infringe on that, and as I say, that's why especially in the morning there might be someone sleeping in as well, so we've just got to check. And with it being so close to departure time, I just want to check, because there could have been somebody who's sleeping or whatever, and you don't want to disturb them. And as I say, it could be that he was wanting to enjoy the peace and tranquility, and then we come bumbling along. It's kind of an understanding between lodges to kind of honour that, and especially during outside of game drive times, you try and keep away from the lodges. But during game drive time, usually everyone's on game drive, so it's not usually a problem. You might get somebody that has decided not to go on drive, or maybe they're ill. Maybe there's a tail flicking, maybe there's something that might give them away. So I think it was this dead tree here. Someone was saying that they were sitting next to it or close to it. the Egyptian geese. So somewhere around here. Thanks, Vivian. Vivian's saying they were right of this tree.
Hey bro, I'm going to Magellan.
He has this.
50 of room 8 Samba North.
Yeah, so they have gone into the drainage line.
Second Road, Ranch, Category okay, today thanks. Yeah, keep an eye with that one television touch with Category.
Okay, so he's just found one track opposite the rooms. Okay. Actually, we might be better off. Going around. No, that's the road.
Yeah, morning bro. Morning, waiting, I'm on the Bubu Okay, come in. Yeah, bro. Good.
Okay, so if everyone's checking on Vubu Road, thinking. There's not really too much. We could try a good Gary Cook line, but if they've gone that way, they may have cut through this block. I'm just trying to predict where those lines might have gone. I think maybe let's stay on in Vubu Road. We might be able to just do a loop around as well. It might just be that if he drives along, they might just be in there in the bush and they pop out in front of us. Hi, Miss Chris. Oh, there was a danger. I just saw it the last second. And true to form, it ran away. Morning, Miss Chris. Good morning to you. And saying about usually lions and leopards tend to be quite protective over the cubs. We get very close to her. And she doesn't seem to bat an eyelid. Why is it so different? And one of the golden rules, Miss Chris, is we don't get too close to her. We let her come to us, and that's one of the big differences. update on the radio there. But, there wasn't one. But yeah, so the golden rule is not to approach any animal, regardless of whether it's a female with offspring or not. But you're right, generally female with offspring are generally a lot more aggressive. But if you give them distance and they're relaxed and they're comfortable with you, then they'll come closer. Just like Karula did the other day, we actually stopped quite a distance from her, and she came strolling past us, didn't even bat an eyelid. And she's going to be passing on that behaviour to her cubs as well. She's going to be showing them that you don't need to be worried about these things, these vehicles. They're not going to harm you. But it also depends on the animal. Now, an animal like Karula, she's probably grown up with, I'm sure she would have grown up with vehicles. I think Safari's a pretty relaxed leopard. So again, Safari would have passed on to her daughter Karula that she doesn't need to worry about these vehicles. So she's quite a relaxed female. There are other females or other leopards that maybe aren't relaxed. Now, it could be partly because of their character, it could be partly because they may have had a bad experience with a vehicle. With Karula's experience, that's why she is a lot more relaxed around the vehicles, but she'll still tell you if you get too close. I've seen her become quite aggressive, and amongst the guides she is known to be a little bit aggressive, and possibly because on occasion they do get a little bit too close to her and don't give her space. It's happened once or twice, and then she maybe remembers the sound of the engine. Otherwise, she was quite relaxed. And the same goes for the lions as well. What am I seeing there? Something that looks like an animal, and it's actually a bunch of leaves. It's still being this drainage line here somewhere. I say when I heard it, I was like, what? Really? Karula? She does have a moment. If you remember, we were sitting in a sighting and she had a kill, and she does get very protective over her kills, and that's one time you definitely should give her a distance. And one of the guests actually stood up, and now usually you get given a safety briefing and told not to stand up, but obviously sometimes you're in the moment and you just want to get a nice view, and it's just natural just to stand up. I've seen it so many times, and I've had guests where I've told them, please don't stand up when you've got lions close by or elephants, and still the excitement is there, the adrenaline's pumping, and they stand up because they want to get that brilliant picture. You have to gently remind them, please sit down. And before the guide could actually tell the guest to sit down, Karula actually charged and gave the guest the fight of his life. But it was a warning charge. She just charged and stopped. She didn't follow through at all. But that was you're in my face, get out of it. And funny enough, she actually came back to where we were on the other side, and she actually came and sat closer, so it was quite a benefit to us, because we actually didn't have a great view of her at the beginning. But it was quite tall grass, and so in that situation there's not really too much you can do. You just got to try and wait for the leopard to move. I'd say that day it was actually quite lucky. She did There's a little 2-track here. I'm wondering, let's maybe try it. This leads along the drainage line. If I can still see it. If I can't see it, then it's no longer able to drive. If you remember, this was the 2-track when it was actually one of the first times we met the Mujingi Lions, and they took down a buffalo somewhere in here, and this 2-track would actually lead down towards that area. Shouldn't do unless it's completely overgrown. I think it is. Okay. Maybe this 2-track just comes down to these pools here. They may continue heading north and pop out here somewhere. Try to time it right. It could be they've decided to find somewhere inside this area and go and rest, snooze for a little bit. It could be that they decide to go west from there. I think that little 2-track's grown over already, by the looks of it. See all this burnt area here. This is a fire break. So this little road is just running parallel to the main road, and this section between the main road and this little road is actually burnt. So if there's a runaway fire on either property, Franklin's calling in. But if there is a fire on either property, that was Cooper. I'm going to be able to get it. Popping around in the bushes there. Oh, there he goes.
It's fine.
Can you get him there?
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Virtual's Kukul. Yeah, he's gone again. But if there is a runaway fire, it's not going to be able to jump over this burnt area. So it is almost like a barrier, almost like a fence to fire. But fire can jump fences, so this would be the equivalent. So you just make a big area, take a big area like this, a big strip, burn it, and there'll be a lot of nutrients that are released back into the soil, so burning is actually very useful. You can see that it's smouldering a little bit there. I think this was possibly burned yesterday or the day before. And you can see there's a lot of vegetation that's still not been burned. So this was a cold fire, and there's cold fires and hot fires. And the hot fires do a lot of damage. The hot fires will kill the trees as well as the grasses, and there literally will be nothing left. And that's when you get strong winds, very warm temperatures, and you can get flames that are hundreds or many tens of meters high. Whereas the coal fire, you don't really have any wind behind it, and it will burn very slowly. Whereas the hot fire will be burning very quickly, and it will just keep pushing forward the whole time. But it will push forward at a rate of knots. It really is quite frightening how fast a hot fire can actually spread. Even a coal fire, but a hot fire, I've never seen anything like it in my life. And that's the fires that really can do a lot of damage, because it doesn't give you any time. Whereas slow fires, it'll kind of gradually move, and that's why a lot of these trees you can still see that are standing, they're still green, because the fire wouldn't have been very high. It would have been very, very low fire and not burning too hot. So some plants are actually able to withstand the heat of the cold fire. But we're going to be seeing some animals coming through here, maybe checking to see if anything couldn't escape, maybe insects and things like that. There's a couple of birds that I'm starting to see here. So I have to keep a check out for any hornbills and things like that come along here. But especially in the summertime, when you do get a burnt area, animals will flock here, especially when you start getting the seedlings and saplings coming through. I'm still here, there's Franklin's call. Could mean that there's something bothering them. I'll keep checking behind this. Something's definitely disturbed them. There come the rollers, blacksmith lapwings. She sounds like there's a couple of crowned lapwings there too. Yeah, here they come. Just see if we can pull back. Yeah, there's a pair of crowned lapwings and a blacksmith lapwing coming into the burnt area. They can find. Able to get them from there. Don't particularly want to go right on. Funny angle. There's the crowned lapwings, looking for any insects, as I was just saying, that may not have escaped the fire. Even a Cape turtle dove just in the top of the picture there. the blacksmith, the black and white one. Oh, and a Crested Franklin just in the corner of the screen. Wow, lots of birds. Okay. I think the other vehicles have left the search. So we're going to have to do a lot of legwork to see if we can catch up with these lions. Oh, Birchall's Cuckoo's on the rock. Oh, is he? Say when?
He went right.
Went right.
Right.
But behind this tree?
Yeah, like
Oh, there. Ah, okay. Oh, there he goes. Well spotted. I think there was a little mongoose that just ran across here as well. Oh, there's another one. 2 Birchall's Cuckoos. And the call of the Aramark Babblers. There he is, sitting in the tree. Don't think he wants to be filmed today. Otherwise, if we're not lucky, maybe that they settle down in this area for the day. And we may have a chance to try and see them this afternoon. But what my plan is to have a wander down and have a look for... Well, it might have been my little 2-track. I'll wander down here just in case they've crossed out through the drainage line this side, and then we'll come round, we'll go back round and just have another look down that side just in case. I've carried on moving. As I say, we should really have seen them. We've spent enough time on that fire break that if they carried on walking, we should have seen them. But you never know, something might have happened in there. Have a look for that little 2-track. I'm not so sure if I was on the right track there. Oh, hello, Waterbrook. Be careful, there's lions around here. Young male waterbuck.
I think it's a young male.
Sorry?
I think it's a young male.
Yeah, you can see the horns.
Did you say it's female?
Oh, no. What are you hearing, waterbuck? It's that beautiful thick fur of the waterbuck. Now he might be on his own. Probably is more than likely on his own, especially being a young male. Maybe just left his family group. Could be that the family is still around. Hi again, Vivian. Wondering if it was a male and female lion at the dam. I only saw the picture of a male, but I think those that saw them did say that there was a male and female. I think someone even said there was possibly 3 running around. I was hoping maybe we'd get some calling. Sadly not. Hi Arlene, good morning to you. Saying that one of the lions had a limp, and would we ever intervene, take out the thorn or whatever had caused him to limp? And unfortunately we try not to get involved in that side of things, Arlene. The only time that vets will intervene is if it was because of humans. If there was a snare that wouldn't have been there, or a fence, maybe an animal ran into a fence or something like that. That's the only time really that they're going to intervene. But if it's something natural and it is part of the natural way of things, animals do get sick, they do get injured, and they actually get taken out by the predators. So the predators actually go for the sick and the injured animals. Now those that kind of slip through the net, they're able to survive, and they're able to either adapt to the loss of a limb, or I don't know, something like that. If they're able to adapt with that injury. Oh, we need to see this one. Little bird that flew into the tree. Please stay there. We saw someone like this the other day. Please turn around. And I actually didn't realise that we don't get pale chanting goshawks here. They actually are further over into the western side of South Africa. And here's the one. I'm sure it's the same one. It almost looks to me, it could be a Gabar goshawk. Look, the tail length looks right. But I want to try and see the front of the face. But this is what the Gabar goshawk looks like. This one here. But I don't know which bird's the most common around here. We've seen him a couple of times now. But it could be this little guy. So I was trying to see the banding on the tail. He did definitely have a couple of bands, I think. Or at least one of them. Or apparently it could be the dark chanting goshawk, but I'm actually not convinced now. This is the dark chanting here. It's quite dark. There may be a pale form. But we need to see the banding. I think that'll help us on the breast, how close that banding is. Because it even looked a little bit, possibly like a lizard buzzard. Lizard buzzard has this black line from the throat. So if anyone got a screen capture, if you're able to post it up on the web page, I'm trying to see if I can find you the lizard buzzard just to show you. If anyone was able to get a good idea on it. He's not with the other birds. Why is he not with the other birds? There you go. Where is he? This little guy. Here. So that is the lizard buzzard. So that's why I want him to turn around so we can see if he's got that dark stripe. He looked like he had this white throat. So she'll have to keep looking out for him. Let's turn around. And go back that side. Oh. See that log? Yes, unfortunately, Eileen, as difficult as it is, believe me, it does get very difficult sometimes. Unfortunately, we do always have to keep that in the back of our minds that, you know, this is nature, and it needs to be balanced. And if we try and interfere with every animal that we see, then you're going to unbalance everything. Because then, if you do help every animal you see, you don't know if there's going to be other animals that are injured elsewhere that you're not seeing. Maybe animals that are even worse off, and they're very badly injured, and yet if they're able to slip through the net and bounce back, then that actually helps them, or it proves that they're quite fit. They're able to withstand this particular injury, or maybe overcome the disease, and maybe there's something in the genes that allows them to maybe mend quicker or be able to get over this disease. And if they're able to go and reproduce, then they're going to be producing much stronger offspring. But maybe there's animals that maybe fall sick or may have become injured and they're not able to survive. Maybe there's something in the genes that it's not helping them, so they don't go on to reproduce, and the species as a whole actually starts changing slightly, maybe becomes fitter, maybe is able to withstand things or not withstand things. And if you believe in evolution, which I know some people don't, but if you do, that's kind of the whole basis of the evolution, is that the animals, and it'll be over millions of years these changes happen, it'll be very, very slight, but eventually these changes happen. Going to do another loop around just in case. Maybe those lines might just pop out. But we're covering all the roads that they could possibly come out on. If we don't have any luck, then we'll head east. Also, if you did help every animal, then the carnivores are going to have an even harder time of catching their meal. So that could actually have an impact on the carnivores. Obviously we are talking about the lion, but also the lion population, if you keep helping every predator, the predators are going to just carry on expanding, and then they're going to over hunt the herbivores, and eventually they might starve. So everything has like a knock-on effect. So if you do help too much, sometimes that can actually hinder. Good morning to D. Good morning to you. Oh, another one up there? See, there's a lot of birds just flocking here now. There's a roller. He's just on the tip of the branch you've got in there. Yep, there he is. I thought he might be our little goshawk or buzzard, but it's the roller. Might just be able to work out the lilac breast. Unfortunately, the sun is hidden behind clouds, so we're not seeing that dazzle of colour in the lilac-breasted roller. D, wanting to know, can lions eat ostrich? Are they part of their diet? You would have thought that they could, or it would be part of the diet. And lions are highly opportunistic cats. If the opportunity presents itself, they will eat anything they can get their claws into. Anything you can imagine. If there is a will, there's a way. If they're hungry enough. An ostrich can be on the menu. I have seen lions hunting and killing ostrich. And even in this area, a leopard might successfully pull down an ostrich. This is actually not the right kind of habitat for ostrich. They tend to pass through. We saw 3 the other day. The main predator probably is the cheetah. Cheetah eat quite a lot of ostrich. Maybe even wild dog. Wild dog might. Hi, Shireen. Good morning to you. Wondering if you ever get a chance to see action-packed hunting on the safaris. We do sometimes get a chance to see the cats or other animals hunting. There's a giraffe that walks through here too. The last time we saw a hunt, it was actually Karula taking down Impala. But it doesn't, you don't often get a chance to see it. You have to be at the right place at the right time, the right circumstances, because if it's not right, the cats won't hunt. In fact, here was where I saw one of my first kills. It was out in the open. It was the head of a lion. And it was the Unkahuma females. We'd actually driven down to go and try and catch up with them before they woke up. And I stopped because there was a buffalo that walked across the road with a car. And the females, the lions, were sitting right on the wall of the dam behind us. So we stopped for the buffalo, carried on driving, and then saw the lions on the dam wall. And it was so quick. Obviously the circumstances were right. The females started going off the wall into the area where the buffalo was, and they actually chased the buffalo back across the road, and we caught up with them, but we actually got slowed by there was a female that darted out just in front of us, so we got slowed down by her, and by the time we actually caught up with them, they'd already caught the buffalo and it was on the ground, and the oldest female still had the buffalo around the throat. But I think it was actually the calf. It was probably about a year old. But she was quite swift about it. Very little sound. And then once she had finished, then we watched the males come in, the cubs also, which I think the cubs had actually been watching the females from the wall. You see them a lot on documentaries, but I can tell you now, they have to follow that animal day in, day out. They have to spend a lot of time with that animal before they're actually able to catch something like that on camera. And I must admit, I've had guests that come through and think that it's the norm, that you see it every time you go out, and it's not the case. If you see it, that is, I'd say abnormal, but it is something you don't see very often. And I heard some of the guides tell me stories that sometimes they've gone out and there's a couple of leopards in the area who are very relaxed around the vehicles as well, and they drop animals fairly close to the vehicle. And there was one particular time guests came into the lodge and they saw, I think it was Safari, which was Karula's mother. She'd actually made a kill, and then literally in the same drive they saw Mafufanyan, Karula's father, also making a kill. And the guests, because it was the first ever safari, they actually thought it was the norm. And yet the rest of us are like jaws on the floor going, what? station's been looking around Mvubu and the fire break for those in Gala, Lutu. I'm going to come back a little bit later so we can try and follow up again. Lutu Ephraim, I think they're still in the block somewhere. Ephraim, how far up the drainage line did you go when you were down by the rooms?
Yeah, from 8. That's Gala is closer down the northwest.
Copy. I tried that little link road between Gallego Shortcut and the fire break as well, and there's Lutu coming out there.
Yeah, because those blocks is too big, you know you can drive to that.
Yeah, I was going to try and take that little 2-track from when we had the Inyari Bamba from the Majingi lines last year, but it's all overgrown now.
Okay, can we hear?
Ephraim also. Oh, really? Okay. Okay, well maybe they have popped out already. Apparently one of the Voyatella staff, I think they've heard lions somewhere down by Zoe's Road, Voyatella access. So maybe we should need to go and check that area. Ephraim, come in. I've just heard that Nick from Voyatella, I think, said he might have heard some Ngala down towards Zoe's Road, Voyatella access. It sounds like it. Apparently he's just gone to Craig now to let him know. Okay, well, let's see if we can go and have a look, because maybe they popped out, maybe they went through somewhere at the back of the drainage line. So as I say, we've not been finding any tracks here. Ephraim's been trying the other side, basically where we went to. He's been trying up and down there. Maybe if they have popped out, let's try Zoe's Road. We're on a mission. Because Ephraim was also thinking exactly the same as me. Still in there somewhere. I thought we were actually on our own. It sounded like Ephraim had gone further north, but he was still on the lion's tail. Very odd weather again. All this cloud buildup again. We should be getting blue skies this time of year. Standing by?
Yeah, the heavy noise or the cloudy or where I'm going.
I'm not too sure about if he saw or heard, but it sounds like he may have heard them. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm making my way over there now, and I'll see if we can find any consoles.
Hemos always had something like in the western, northern part of this house.
I just sent Zoe's Voyatella access area. Okay, copy. Have you found anything there?
No, look at it.
Okay, we're gonna give it one more shot. Sounds like Ephraim's already around Voyatella, Zoe's Road. Let's just quickly try. We'll go Plymouth's Cut line up Zoe's Road and just see if there's anything there. Hello, what's this? Hyena! Hyena are out and about.
That condor came out back to Yari again. Just got that now the condor again, yeah.
One of the first time viewers are just wondering why we can't just go driving into the drainage line there and having a look around. Unfortunately, you can do a lot of damage to the bush, and if the animals don't want to be seen, they know where to hide. So it could be that the lions are just wanting some privacy. If that little 2-track was still fairly visible, I would have tried that little 2-track, but it has completely grown over now. So the bush has reclaimed it. But we only go off-road if we have a confirmed sighting, or if we're pretty sure that the animal is there, like if we hear barking of a kudu, or you know, something that would really say there's an animal there. Now, occasionally, might be we're not entirely sure, but everything seems to point towards them, and then we'll go off, and generally we'll find, or if we know that the animal has been in the area, say lions sleeping in the area, then we'll go in later on and just have a look around. Now I just thought we might as well check this area, because if you heard something towards Zoe's Road, Voyatella access, they may have been on this side here. Just suddenly thought, especially if Ephraim's doing Zoe's Road, that area. Oh, looky what we found. We got ourselves some elephants. I wonder if that's what we may have heard, if we did hear something. Maybe we're better off this side. Sorry, sir.
Now myself, mobile now, heading down towards the southern at the same time. Okay, so we think like most of the start heading that way for your intent. So, but I'm coming along the Opal Road.
And sometimes you can just find animals. At stations, I've got a small Schlambiv and Love just by Bushbright site in quarantine. Actually, the rest of the herd are further down into the drainage line, but all obscured by trees and bushes at the moment. So she's quite a small youngster. You just about see the tip of his tusk starting to grow. It's amazing, you might not see too much. And then all of a sudden, animals start popping out from everywhere. Sounds like Yampiri or Dan has just been seen just on the eastern side towards Buffles Hook. Yeah, he's heading down towards Buffles Hook Dam. And that is Karula's mate of choice. She's mated with him a few times. And it's believed he's the father of 2 sets of her cubs, possibly the 3rd. But he is quite a distance from where we are, so sometimes he does head off into the bush, so I think we'll watch this little one until maybe he disappears. I don't know if we're going to be able to see the rest of the family. As I say, there's quite a few in the drainage line. But if we leave them now, there's nothing to say that Yambini's going to stick around. He's quite a skittish leopard. So I'd rather stay with them just for a little while. And then we'll see if we can make our way over there and try and see him. But if the lions have made their way over here, there's a good chance they'll let us know. You see, look, he's sniffing at something, ears are out, he's not sure about something. Yeah, so if the lions pop up somewhere, these guys will let us know. Unless he disappears. I can't work out, there's somebody on top of this termite mound here. So let me just turn around and see if we can get a view. if we can't, then we'll start trying to make our way over towards where Yambili is. Yeah, he's lost visual already. And just so I was talking about different characteristics and different characters of the leopards. Yambili is one of those leopards that are quite skittish. And sometimes he'll stick around and sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he disappears. So I'll keep my ear to the radio. If they relocate him again, or if we don't have any luck this side, then we'll make our way over there. It's amazing where elephants can get to. There'll be areas that you just wouldn't give elephants credit being able to get into there. And even on top of steep mounds like that, you can see them. Not too sure how high that mound is, but it certainly looks fairly high from where we're sitting. It could be that it's fairly flat on the other side. But they are capable of climbing very steep ridges. That could even be Mum there. Standing behind the trees. I don't know if I can pull forward. Oh, like I said, the little one was actually trying to push over a little sapling. It was too bendy. It kept swinging back. I'll just pull back just a little bit. It could be that the rest of the herd are actually further afield. And they could be communicating with the rest of the herd and knowing basically where they are, but maybe they decide to split away and come and see what's down in the drainage line. I thought I saw a couple of others, but maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it is just these two. And that youngster's probably about 4 or 5 years old. Actually, maybe probably a little bit older. Maybe about 5 or 6. See, trying to tuck the trunk over the head so he can try and drink the milk. If you notice, her teats are actually up by her front legs rather than the back legs, like most animals. Quite unusual. Think about cats and dogs, they tend to have them, and their relatives down towards the back legs. But hyrax, primates, elephants, all up by the front arms or legs. And even though this little one is going to be eating vegetation for himself, we've just been seeing him playing with the trees and eating some leaves. It will still supplement the diet, and they can supplement the diet with milk up until 7 years of age sometimes, as long as she's lactating still. It could be she's carrying another calf. Could be that she's almost ready to give birth to her next calf. It could be that she's not carrying another calf at all. And a 2-year gestation period. Or just under 2 years, 22 months. Okay, well, looks like we're going to wander off into the bush. I think let's start making our way over towards Buffelshoek Hook then. I don't know if we're going to have any luck with these lions. We still haven't found Yambili again. We have lost him. But he might just pop up again. Stations leaving, it looks like just 2 and Glove. Drainage line by Bushprice site, slowly thundering west. It's negative, I didn't hear about them. Copy that. Any luck with Nkonza's your side?
I drive around, nothing now, when they put on the gate.
Yeah?
There's nothing in Nkonza. Yeah, that's the second thing now, just not what to say.
Copy that. I've been trying the western side of quarantine just in case there's anything here. There's Lutu.
Okay, come here.
From driving around again over the road. I wonder if they have gone to sleep in that block there. Or they have popped out here. Hyena, trying to be a leopard. Hyena track. And is it Diana? Or Diana? I'm not Not too sure how to say your name, but welcome on board this morning. Getting sidetracked here. Wondering how old the baby elephant was. Say probably around 5 or 6. Something like that. Nice runner that came through here as well. Hello, guinea fowl. Have you seen any lion around here? Guinea fowl, very quiet.
Over it, Kevin? Oh. It's fine, maybe go just to the market or maybe because it was moving, maybe move it down there. Okay, copy.
Guinea fowl. I'm sure this is a bird that a lot of people recognise. It's been taken to many places across the world. And Diana wanting to know a good book for animals, and this one I found is quite a nice one. It's got nice pictures, quite good information. Field Guide to Mammals of Southern Africa by Kristen Tild Stewart. That one I find is quite a useful one. There's a few out on the market. There's a guide. It's not a bad guide actually. If you like the ISBN number of that book or titles of other books, I have put them under discussions on my Facebook page, my public Facebook page, so they're there all the time. If anybody wants to look at the bird books that I've used or the tracking book that I use sometimes. I think there's a reptile book I put up there. Let's have a listen out down here. We're doing another lap just in case. But I think they have possibly, I don't know, we should really have found some tracks on the road around Zoe's Road or Voyatella access, so maybe it was just before drive with them. Who's there? See a tail flick. I think there's some impala or Nyala back there. Quite far into the bushes. And apparently there's some more elephants along here. So while they're still looking for Yambili, they've lost sight of Yambili up by Buffelshoek Dam. How are you doing back there, sir? Not as warm as Gabon, eh? Yeah. You can see a little icicle on the end of your nose. Yeah, it's true. So I'm just saying, it's very cold, just came back from holiday. A much warmer area than here. But it is true, it does get colder as the sun rises. It's the movement of air, so the warmer air rises, and obviously the colder air drops, and that's what you're feeling. warm when the sun rises. Maybe the lions have actually decided to sleep just in the drainage line, just at the back of camp. It's quite a steep drainage line. The walls are pretty steep. You can't get a vehicle in there. We do often get a lot of movement of elephants, the leopards. Karula uses that area a lot. The lions. I'm wondering if that's where they're sleeping. Any volunteers out there to go and have a look? And I do spy an elephant. Spy a couple of elephants playing. The young boys sparring. Boys are going to go. Hi Randy, good morning to you. Wondering if a lion would take down a calf the size of the elephant, the size of the calf we just saw. Quite possibly, Randy. In some areas where there's a lot of lions, big lion prides, they have been known to pull down adult elephants. It's usually a pride of 30 strong. Check these two boys. You don't really hear of it here in the Savi Sands. The foot-tailed drongos flying over as well. I can just pull forward a little bit. Hi Tareen, good morning to you. Welcome on board this morning. Wondering who names the animals and have I named any? Some animals we do name. And some animals we do have to go through a protocol. The sparring that these boys are doing is basically what they'll do as they get older and fight for the rights to mate with females. And when they put the tusks together, it's sizing up the tusks against each other. Yeah, there's actually a greeting there. You see him just trying to put his trunk into the mouth So it's still play at the moment, but I think this youngster that's in full screen is a little bit annoyed at the other one. The other one's probably being just a little bit too boisterous. But the lions and the leopards, there tends to be a bit of a protocol to name them, because they do tend to wander over different properties. And it's nice to know for continuation what's going on with them, and to have the same names, because when animals have different names, it starts to become quite difficult to actually follow their movement. The boys are right in the thick. See if I can actually get there though. There might just be a little gap that we might be able to see them. As far as the cubs, Karuna's cubs being named, we hope to have a name at the end of the month. And I think a few people are asking, why has it taken so long, and especially with the last ones being named. And again, we wanting to make sure that across the Sabi Sands, especially in this area where the cubs are found, we want to make sure that they have the same name that we use as everybody else's use, just for that reason, to make sure that we can keep a track. And usually the Sabi Sands, it's only after about a year and a half that they do get named. And we were lucky with Mishun and Duna that the names were kept, and everyone did decide to keep the names of Mishun and Duna, and we were able to, I think Rexon actually named them, and they're about 3 or 4 months old. But we haven't really seen them too much. Mishun and Duna, I think, we're seeing quite a lot. Like, other ones had enough. Let's head off into the bush. Whereas these cubs, they've been just out of the way on the western side of Triple M, so we've not really had a chance to get to know them too well. Try and turn around here. Looks like a couple of youngsters also having a bit of a sparring session. Lot to say, little one. I'm trying. There's that little one at the back. I think he's taking it out on him. Look at that. Shaking his head and putting his ears out. He's so much smaller than you. Shame. still no sign of Yambili. Okay, well, still no luck. With the lions that side. What I'm still we'll do a trip around up there and just have a look. Maybe come down Gower, we could climb. Yeah. Are you gonna try and take it out on us now? What? I've not been the one bullying you. Shame. I know. Shame. What's all the fuss? Shame. He's not happy because this one was bullying him and I think he was trying to take it out on us.
Yeah.
And all that display that he just did. So here he comes again. You're gonna go and pick on him again. Yeah, he's turning tail and running again. That's not nice. No, we've got another one coming. Hello? You wanting to join in as well?
Not happy.
No, they're not happy, eh? I think they're all winding each other up. That little one is still trumpeting. And that's the thing with these young males. They try and intimidate, and you can see they're doing it to each other. And there's this. They're trying to dominate each other, and obviously putting out their ears makes them look bigger, trumpeting and throwing their head around. And like the little one was doing to the bushes here, so throwing his head into the bushes, and basically trying to intimidate. And that's what they do, try and do to each other. But also they start doing it to the vehicles, because as I say, he was kind of displacing what was happening between him and the other bull. And they thought, oh, there's something that I can go and intimidate because he's bullying me. And then the other one, a little bit larger, and obviously picking up on them, possibly hearing the trumpeting, going, well, there must be something I need to also be a bit wary of with that vehicle. It's still trumpeting in there. And if it gets too much, you might just run to Mum. I'm just hoping that he's not going to bring her back this way. They're still going off in there. It just goes to show you don't know what's going to happen. You can still see them sparring in there. And you'll actually find the males do this a lot more than the females, especially at that age. Because again, they're like young teenagers, they've got something to prove. Well, they are young teenagers. They have something to prove, they've got to show how big and strong they are. Certainly not wanting to underestimate them. You see, he's still got his head's raised high, he's coming back up here now. He's got his head raised high and, say, ears out. Definitely not a happy chappy. Shame, little one. And even at that size, if he decided to come charging into us, he could do some serious damage if he actually hit me head on. Especially with that tusk as well. So even though they're small, you've got to give them respect there. As I say, the likelihood of them actually following through a charge like that, or actually going that far, is not as likely as an adult. Because there's still that element of doubt, there's still that uncertainty. His trumpeting doesn't sound quite right either. There he goes, he's going off that side again. I'm sure the mothers will step in if it does get too much. I've actually seen that. That was actually one of the funniest things I ever saw. It was one of my first sightings of elephant and buffalo together. In fact, probably one of my first sightings of elephant. And there was this young calf, he was probably about 1.5 years old. And he started running towards probably about four or five buffalo with his ears out. And he started running towards them and he was like, oh, maybe not. And turned around and ran off again. But he actually ran to Mum. And he got Mum to come and join him. And Mum started running up to the buffalo and started showing her ears, and then the buffalo actually responded, because the buffalo were like, no, I don't think so. And started actually running up to, or walking towards the calf. Say he went to go and get Mum. And then the buffalo took notice. But it was just so funny how it all played out. It's like, you know, go on, move. Like, why should we move? We're bigger than you are. Run to go and get Mum. Tattletailing. Like, I'll tell my ma. They certainly did. Stations just left the Love Arg Lego shortcut, open lock. Ephraim, come in. A bit low. Hi, Brian. Morning to you. I hope Heather's well. Wondering if drongos are territorial. As far as I know, I thought they were, but I'm not overly sure now because there's a few there all flying around, so maybe they're actually not. Maybe at certain times of the year they're territorial. breeding season, because obviously we're outside of the breeding season now, or we should be. Could be their chicks that were with them. Oh, I saw a big raptor. See if I can try and get in touch with Ephraim again. Sounds like he's trying to check the drainage line again. Maybe he had some luck this time. We're doing one last loop before we head towards Buffelshoek Dam. I still don't think they have relocated Jambini yet. Jambini Jordan. See, if these elephants actually walk into the lines, they might actually flush them out. Even though we haven't seen lions attacking elephants here in the Sami Sands, it doesn't mean to say that they have never tried, and even the calves have never tried. There's nothing to say. And we have seen them react to lions. They will chase cats. Obviously, become very wary of cats. Ephraim, come in. Any luck that side? Oh. Double check for you there, Brian. I think it could be depending on the season, quite possibly. But actually thinking about it, during the winter time you do see a lot more drongos together than you do during the summertime. Ephraim, do you copy me now?
Yeah, I can do that.
Did you have any luck that side?
I guess.
Did you have any luck with Nkonzos that side?
I'm thinking I'm not anything now. We've got to meet something here in south of Sydney there. And the Western Gary, some other nice touching. Indication of some other night heading towards their direction.
Was that the Inyari at Sunny Patch North?
These are two companies and something Inyari heading south.
Okay, Buffalo at Sydney's Dam, starting to head south. But I think let's try try Buffelshoek. And we come back that side. You never know, we might just be in the right place at the right time. If Jambini might just pop out of the hiding place. Cheryl Ann, good morning to you. Saying maybe the missing tusk was recently broken and maybe he's in pain. It didn't look like it was ever there. I don't know. It didn't look like there was any injury there where the tusk would have been. Sometimes you do get elephants where only one tusk grows, or maybe no tusk grow. Maybe there's a genetic mutation where they don't actually have any tusks. But it's a possibility, but as I say, I didn't see any signs that maybe you lost a tusk recently. Checking this area. Sounds like Ephraim didn't have any luck in the drainage line. So I think we might just have to wait for those lines to pop out, unfortunately. I'm hoping at some stage they will. If anybody is following us on the map this morning, we're on Buffelshoek Cut Line. Buffelshoek Cut Line is our northern boundary. Sydney's Dam actually lies just over in Buffelshoek. You can still smell the smoke. You can still see there's some parts of this fire break that are still smouldering. Hi, Janie. Thank you. Wondering if I was scared or was Seb scared. Seb, were you scared? Were you scared when the elephant came and flying over us? Aw.
I wasn't scared because I know they were young, trying to I knew what you were doing as well.
Yeah, it's okay. I wasn't overly worried. I was more worried that if he was actually going to break the branch onto us, that might have actually hit us. But as I say, there's you can kind of predict, but then there's also that element of unpredictability. And at the end of the day, they do have their own brains and they do have their own minds. And that's what I'm saying. There's always the respect, and I won't kind of think, okay, it is young, it's not going to do anything stupid, because that's definitely the wrong attitude to have. Because that's when you start having problems. But obviously keeping an eye on it, but I was kind of seeing the whole situation and what was actually happening. Say, just getting wound up, and he was, from when I first turned around and looked, I could see that bigger elephant was bullying him, and I could see he was getting wound up by it. It's just like we were watching the other two sparring, and you could see the one that he wasn't really initiating it. He was wanting to eat. You could see he was trying to eat the leaves, and he was trying to just carry on, and the other one kept trying to engage him, and then eventually he was like, oh, okay, let's go for it, and then he was actually attacking him back, kind of thing. But it was still play rather than when the bulls get older and it becomes extreme. It was still play, but he was getting irritated. You could see him there. Look at young male kudu, Nyala. Just pull around a little bit. You might actually be able to see a couple of others. Maybe not. There's 1, 2, 3. There's another one further into the drainage line. There's the Nyala bulls. And so if that was an adult elephant, I think I would have been more concerned.
Yeah, then it would be another story.
Yeah, then it definitely would have been another story. But
What would have happened though if you would have started the car in reverse?
the youngster, if I started the car, I think would have got a fright, and I think he would have run off. Yeah. But then there's this playoff as well, because especially if they're youngsters, and they start to intimidate cars and vehicles, and then you start actually backing off, sometimes that can actually lead to them doing it more and more and actually intimidating, and as they get older and older, they'll carry on doing it, and once they become a big elephant, then it becomes a bigger problem, because they're more likely that they've got past that uncertainty stage, and they're more likely to actually charge right at the vehicle. So there's also this thing with the young elephants. If you give in at a fairly young age, they start to learn that and think, "Ooh, I can start intimidating these vehicles," and then they get into a bad habit. Oh, he's going to come out now. Try and move forward a little bit. So the thought did cross my mind when he was right opposite me. Is he going to try and run forward at us? But as I say, it was more displacement behaviour, throwing his head in the bushes. And that's the thing, whenever an animal does react and actually have you in their sights, there's an element of things that can happen, there's an element of decisions that you can make. And sometimes you'll do one thing in one situation and do something completely different in another situation. It's just trying to read what's going on, and at that point I felt that it wasn't necessary for us to move. He just needed to play out his frustration. And then him carry on, and then, as I say, the other bulls coming along as well. So we hadn't done anything to them; they were just wound up. Beautiful bull Nyala feeding underneath a stunning jackalberry, and we have actually found Karula sitting in this jackalberry before. And there were some trees with fruits on them, but I think if there is any fruits, they're possibly on the ground, which is possibly what they're eating.
Open lock. Yes, I want to come to the Nyari. Must I just drive on the stop line or what's the thing? Yeah, I think from the gate, take the Vietela exit. You can see my train coming out from the bush. That's if you're heading to Vietela, look your left hand side. You can see those Nyari in the middle of the block. And it's very good inside, it's much more open.
Nice and peaceful. It's that beautiful white mane down the back, and they'll actually erect that. And I think seeing two males standing off against each other, I think is probably one of the most impressive displays of the antelope. And when they dance around each other, and they do it slow motion, and they actually place the foot very decisively. They do take their time about it, and that mane is erect and the head's bowed low, and you just get this beautiful arc of the body, showing off how big they are and showing the length of the horns. And all of that is to try and avoid fighting, because at the end of the day, that's why animals have these rituals, is to try and avoid fighting at all costs, because if they do get injured, that could mean the difference between life and death for them. Could slow them down. Maybe they're not able to run away from predators easily. Maybe they're not able to find food or catch their own food easily if they're a predator. So that's why animals will go through rituals like calls, and who can call the loudest should be the strongest. So if you can call louder, you've got bigger muscles and all this sort of thing. So it should actually follow that. So whoever can call the louder, or whoever looks bigger, the horns, whoever's got the longer horns, so all these things. Okay, we're on Central Road. We're going to carry on heading east as I promised. We're going to go through to Buffalo's Hook Dam, see if we have any luck with young Beanie. I think we are going to have to wait until this afternoon to see if those lions pop out again. They might walk today, they might carry on walking, they might go and try and find where the buffalo are again. They might just take it easy and rest. Oh, this is where they came from. Here's the tracks. So they came from this direction. I like to call them what? I missed that. Oh, antelopes wearing knickers. Nice one, then. So I used to call the Nyala antelopes wearing knickers. And it is, they actually, actually do look like they're wearing like pantaloons or something, or tights. There's such a difference in the leg colour to the body colour. And for those people who have never seen a female Nyala, they look completely different. You might think that they're completely different antelope. And that is, am I feeling raindrops? Are you feeling drops? It's only one or two. It's very, 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 very light. I don't think it'll get any heavier. Welcome back, sir. And Andrew. Oh yes, no, I was just saying. Nyala. Females, they're chestnut brown all over the body with the white lines, just like the male with the white lines. Chestnut in colour rather than the dark black like the males. So they were all males there, bachelor group, all ages. And they can split away, they can be on their own or be in a group. Just depends on what they feel like. But welcome aboard, Andrew. Wondering if tusk breaks, will it grow back? And they're just like normal teeth. So if you chip a tooth, it won't grow, your tooth won't grow back from the chip. But if it's, unfortunately, it is slightly different to our teeth in that, see, our teeth won't continue to grow, whereas their tusks continue to grow. But the principle's kind of the same. If you have a chipped tooth, it's not going to grow back. The only growth will happen from the end. It's part of the mouth where the root is. So it will continue to grow throughout the life, and that's why you generally get adult elephants with larger tusks than younger elephants, but the length might not always fall in that, or even the thickness. I've seen some young elephants with long tusks, longer than bull elephants, which must be 20 years their senior, and yet their tusks are probably about either the same length or shorter, but much, much thicker. And I have seen young elephants with very thick tusks, but fairly short, and that's all controlled by genetics. But the incisors, which are the front, would be the equivalent of our front teeth, these teeth here. They grow continuously. But wherever that chip is, won't grow from there. Actually, apparently, with this dentine, it's that softer part of the tooth. But it does have a cap of enamel when it first grows, and that cap usually falls away. But the dentine is almost cross-sectioned. It's quite unusual dentine, apparently. Although ivory can be found, because that's what the tusk is named, obviously, is the ivory. Can be found in hippos, narwhals, sperm whales as well, walrus. Apparently all of those can be classified as ivory. What is interesting is years and years and years ago when dentures were actually made of ivory. They were made of hippo ivory rather than elephant ivory, because hippo ivory doesn't discolour like the elephant ivory does. The elephant ivory goes, or has a taint of yellow over a period of time. Whereas the hippos don't. Okay, Mr. Yambili, you're going to grace us with your presence today. Are there any stations still looking for the Madorda Ingwe around Buffelshoek Dam?
I'm right at Buffelshoek Dam.
Copy, do you mind if I join you?
I haven't met any vehicle. I'm just looking around.
Copy, is it okay if I join you to look for him?
You're welcome.
Copy that. The last visual was it southeast of Buffelshoek Dam.
That's right. I'm on the east side at the moment.
Sounds like one person's still looking for him. I think he went into the bush. Maybe we should check Cheetah Good Line. It sounds like he was still on Hippo Pools Road. That's what I got. So I think he went east from there. So maybe we should try that little. There's a little road. I actually still don't know what that little road's called. Hello, hippo. I saw a pair of hippo ears. Let's have a quick look. Okay, I also saw some movement in the bush there. A quick look at hippo. Let's see who is there. There's a couple of Egyptian geese there too. Buffelshoek Dam. There's 2 hippo, 3 hippo, 4 hippo, baby hippo. Put his head down. Ah, there we go. But one would have to resurface. The baby might not be too far behind. Just keep checking that area for little baby. Oh, there was baby. It doesn't look like they're gonna get us too much today. It's very quiet here. I think the other vehicle's on the northern side having a look. So let's try Hippo Pools Road. I think he tried that little two-track, that little road that I was talking about. So maybe let's try Hippo Pools Road again. Just want to have a good look. I saw movement in here just as we pulled up. It could have been a Dacre. Just have a good look in here. You never know. You never know. This was the road. It sounded like he went east from this road. Could be again, he's in the block somewhere. Maybe he found a nice sheltered spot to curl up and go to sleep. Maybe like the lions did, but with it being an overcast day as well, sometimes you do get the cats moving around a lot more. So there is a possibility. Might even be lucky with a rhino. That'd be nice. The reason why I'm checking this road again is because sometimes he doesn't like too many vehicles. One vehicle, sometimes two. He's slowly getting used to two vehicles, but if there's a third vehicle, sometimes that gets too much for him. And I know there's three vehicles that responded, but I think they lost him before the third vehicle responded. Sometimes when he does, he will go off, and then he'll come back actually out onto the road again once the vehicles have left. Quite cunning. Check this road just in case that's what happened. Sadly, it doesn't look like it. There we go. So we obviously cut through here, some vehicle tracks here. Through onto grass, completely yellow. All the nutrients are locked away down in the root system. See, some trees are deciduous, losing the leaves, some trees are not. A lot of the red bush willow is starting to turn now. Turn colour, so the green leaves are becoming red. Sorry, Franklin. Okay. Come on, young Beanie, don't let us down. Are you going to be here? That'd be awesome if you are. Hyenas also been walking down here. Actually just thinking about the Egyptian geese. That's a little while ago if they mate for life, and I actually managed to find out they do mate for life. There's some people upon the northern side of this road. I don't think young Beanie's going to be here. I think they may have just been burning this piece. It looks like some of the guys doing the burning. Yeah. They are. You can see the fire now. Young Beanie probably won't come this way. Probably out to smell the fire. Wind is going that way there. Okay, maybe we should go down to Twin Dams and see if there's anything happening around there. I didn't notice, did you notice the baboons by Luke's house? No, I didn't see the baboons.
Yeah, that's
Just the-
He's in a corner. Yeah, in a corner. Okay, we'll get up in that way.
bird in the tree. The silver cluster. Ah, there he goes. Birds should really learn not to fly away when they're trying to be caught on camera. Good lookout for him along here. If I remember rightly, we have found him here a couple of times, and even just in this little block here. Taxi, come in. Can you repeat what's on Fuller's Good Line? I heard someone say Fullerman's Cut Line, but I couldn't hear what they had.
Yeah, nothing new. I was just at some and also that will come in Yari and your trailer and 635.
Okay, copy, thanks. I'm also looking around for Yambili. Got Lutu so far.
Okay, thanks.
Click your tail. Show us where you are. Have we had any replies to the junk quiz? I don't know if anybody's had a guess at the dung. couple more minutes just in case anybody does want to have a guess whose dung it was. I'm not too sure how long you're away from us. But welcome back. Just going to head over Gowrie Dam Wall. And definitely keep a lookout for any movement around by the dam. Maybe those elephants are going to make their way down towards the dam. Maybe the lions might pop out at some stage. Maybe somebody else will pop out of the woodwork. Saw a slender-tailed mongoose, or slender mongoose on the camera the other day. Not sitting on the camera. So screen. Serval. Serval. I wonder if Serval's been seen. Oh, let's pull off here. I wonder if Serval's been seen again. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, no sign of them. I think they sleeping in there somewhere. Oh well. Enjoy your game drive, hey? Nobody lying flat in there, is there? Oh well. But definitely, as I say, you can keep an eye on the waterhole camera this afternoon. And unfortunately it's come to the end of drive. But thank you very much for joining us. For those of you who'd like to know what that dung was, it was the impala. Impala dung, very tiny dung. But thank you very much for joining us here on Wild Earth. Thank you for all your questions this morning. And who knows, hopefully we'll be able to join up with those lions later on this afternoon. I hope so. But certainly those elephants were quite special this morning, and even that giant kingfisher. Wonderful to see. But my name's Tara. Sebastian's been on camera and Craig's been in final control. And you've been here with Wild Earth. Take care everyone, and we'll see you again soon.